Kiley, welcome to Content Marketing Conference.
Thank you so much.
We're honored to have you here as a speaker and appreciate all your hard work to educate people.
Well, it is my pleasure. It's very flattering to be involved.
Right on. Tell us a little bit about your agency. What is your hyper-focus? And I know it's really interesting, actually. I've got a lot of questions for you about moms and starting businesses, and I know that's some of your focus. But tell us a little bit about your agency. When did you start it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the owner and CEO of Brainchild Studios, and we're a digital content marketing and website creation agency. And we primarily work with brands targeting millennial moms.
Got it.
We also work with service-based brands that target women and female-founded companies because we're all about the ladies. We're female-founded, primarily female-operated, creating content for other women to consume. And then on a personal side, it's my personal mission to help entrepreneurial-minded women kind of get that kickstart that they might need to start their own business. So while I tend to work with moms and entrepreneurial-minded women to start their own businesses, it kind of complements Brainchild's focus of targeting businesses and brands whose end consumer is millennial moms.
Got it. How does one decide to focus on millennial moms?
Yeah.
What was the impetus to that?
Yeah, that's a totally fair question. So what I realized as Brainchild continued to grow was I had done a poor job of reminding myself of our why. And selfishly, I started Brainchild because a couple years ago when I was ready to change and move into the next step of my career, I was not thrilled with what my career options looked like. And while I'm not a mom yet, I hope to be at some point. And I also plan on having a career. And I didn't like the idea that I was seeing all these amazing women making that decision to have children and then having to make that really difficult decision with their employer of, well, how do I balance these two things? And I'm a firm believer that especially in today's day and age and the evolution of technology and working in a career path of digital marketing, it's like, well, we can have our cake and eat it too. And so we've started to take that mantra with Brainchild and say we're baking cakes and handing out forks. And so I selfishly created the business that I wanted to work for, and in the process created the opportunity for other people. And so coming back to why did we focus on millennial moms, I wanted to make sure that we were being real and authentic and focused on our why. And I'm a millennial and I hope someday to be mom. And now we have some millennial moms working on our team, and we're able to open up that opportunity for them to have that work-life balancing act, if you will. And we're really focused on helping people create fulfilling careers, strong family lives, and pursue personal growth. And so we kind of just focus on like, do what you know, and do it to the best of your ability, and part of that was kind of also rolled into my why in terms of why we really got started.
You thought it through.
Yeah, it took a couple years of articulating that inside my mind until it came to true fruition, but yeah, we got there. Very
cool. Tell us a little bit about the challenges that millennial moms face today, and also the opportunity that exists for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So millennial moms are really interesting because they are so much more digital focused and tech savvy than previous generations. We're in the process of doing proprietary research on millennial moms. And one of the things we realized in asking them, where do you go to find your resources on how to be a mom? They all go to Facebook mommy groups. No one said, I call my mom, which in previous generations was definitely a go-to. And I mean, we even have quotes from some people saying like, my family doesn't know about these resources. And so they're turning to social media in a lot of ways. They're turning to some private photo sharing apps. They're turning to digital and technology to better help parent. And you know, people can have their own opinions about it, but it is what it is. And so what we wanted to do was take a look at diving into this target audience that has tremendous buying power. They have over like $1 trillion buying power. Right now, 86% of all new moms are millennial moms, and it's just going to continue to grow, especially as this generation waits a little longer in life to have kids, so it's still blossoming. So not only do they have a tremendous buying power and they're digitally savvy, they also have higher expectations of brands, and they're definitely craving that personalization and that authenticity and trust. And so what we're trying to do is do additional research to make sure that we truly understand everything going on with millennial moms, so we can then take that information, share it with our clients, and use that as just an additional bonus on top of any research we might do specifically for that brand.
Huh. How do you sell products and services differently to millennial moms, and how do you coach and advise your clients to do that?
Yeah, through, it sounds a little cheesy saying it, but through authenticity. Just storytelling, being honest, being real, not trying to make everything polished and perfect. We're finding that a lot of women are craving that authenticity, and then when we turn that conversation to influencers, it can kind of go both ways. Some women are really focused on, oh, well, I follow these influencers for recipes or whatever it may be. But there's also this potential negative impact on millennial moms and the influencer space. There's a lot of comparison, I think, especially as moms. There's a lot of comparison in daily life of like, oh, well, she's a better mom than I am for these reasons, and a lot of that's made up in our own heads, right? And we put that on ourselves. But it's amplified in social media and with influencers. So you see mommy bloggers who appear to have it all together, but then in a lot of ways that just negatively impacts the everyday millennial mom. They're like, oh, well, what am I doing wrong? Because I don't look like that. And so it's finding that truth and that authenticity, and then amplifying stories that really resonate with millennial moms.
Interesting. Let's talk. You just literally came back from a session
Literally.
on agency startups.
Literally, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that session. What were you talking about, and what advice did you have for anybody that's starting an agency like you did a couple years ago?
Oh boy, all of the
Besides
things.
luck and prayer, let's rule those out for a second.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
you need both.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just came from talking about starting a virtual agency. So Brainchild is a virtual agency, and then I was working virtually prior to starting Brainchild. So the biggest things are making sure that you're organized, making sure that you understand your intentions, setting goals, because goals aren't going to be the same for everyone. You know, we had a great conversation in that session actually, and for our agency, we're a boutique company, and I like that, and I want to stay that way. But other agencies might be focused on massive growth and massive scale.
Yeah.
And you have to understand what success looks like for you, because there's no right or wrong way to go about that. I mean, you're starting your business, it should be whatever you want it to be, right?
Right.
But setting those goals for yourself, I think, are super important.
Yeah.
Other things that we've discussed are the importance of operations and processes, the importance of a really strong digital content strategy, but you can't build that without truly knowing your audience and their pain points and the things that you're trying to solve for them.
Yeah.
So we as a business, and then also as an entrepreneur, are truly focused on understanding our target audience to make sure that we're speaking to their goals, their fears, their challenges, their guilty pleasures at times.
Yeah.
And focusing on those steps in terms of starting a business. Then there's all the very tactical things of starting a business, like legal documentation. What do I do with that?
Right.
What does that look like? That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Starting business checking accounts. What's the proper way to go about that? Starting your own email system. All of the very tangible checklist things. But I think the biggest thing when it comes to starting a virtual agency, and while it comes down to starting a business and starting an agency versus virtual agency, there's a lot of very similar building blocks, but the number one thing I think that's really important with virtual is communication. Because the reality is that if you can't build a team that you trust, it's going to be very difficult to succeed, because you're always wondering, like, well, what's that person doing? Why haven't they responded? Why aren't they communicating with me? And then there becomes this issue of reliability, and then you're wasting time and energy thinking about all of that. So being able to build a team that you really trust, and being able to have a strong communication system in place is key. And one thing that we found really helpful there is video conferencing. Well, most of our team is focused in the Milwaukee area, because we do get together for monthly happy hours and such, because we do want to focus on building that team culture. video conferencing is a game changer when you don't get to see each other every day. And it also helps to minimize that potential feeling of isolation that people might run into when they work remotely.
Got it. Do you have any sort of structure that you could advise for a virtual agency? You know, meet with employees once a day, you know, or monitor chat. How do you build that trust with employees? Do you need to give them more freedom initially, or do you need to build good patterns and habits? You know, a lot of tension there, a lot of people very worried about it, except, of course, the CEO of WordPress, who has a distributed workforce of tens of thousands of people all over the world, right? And they've really created a system and a process around it. But back to the startup land that you're in, you know, what is your advice for building that virtual business and/or agency when you first start out and you're trying to get the feel of it?
Absolutely. First thing I would say is, like, be gentle with yourself, because it's a learning curve, and it's always shifting and it's always evolving. So, like, don't be too hard on yourself, but always try to find a process that works at scale. But I'm also going to take a step back and bring it back to the people. I've hired a lot of people over the last couple of years. A lot of them have not worked out. Also learning experiences for me.
Right.
But right now, the team that we have, I'm madly obsessed with them, and I've known a handful of them for a very long time. Others have been referred to me. Others actually introduced themselves to me when I was in the middle of interviewing other people. So the team that we have right now is just a group of really special people. And again, I bring it back to the reliability and the trusting factor. It makes it very difficult to trust team members to represent your brand and your baby if you haven't built that relationship with them. So luckily we have built that. So that's like check one. We all are on the same page. We trust each other. We're working together as a team. Everyone is really amazing at adapting this mentality of it's all or nothing. Everyone is willing to roll up their sleeves and jump in. No egos. There's no egos at Brainchild. It's just everyone in it. And so when you set that as a playing field, it makes the communication part a lot easier, because now you're not just trying to battle like egos and people, you know, oh, well, she's not responding to me because she's mad at me, or whatever it is, right? It's a team effort. But the communication style that we use most often, everyone uses email. Which is really nice because it gives you the opportunity to really carve out space, if you're willing to do some deep dives and do work, because we all get distracted all the time. And if we're checking email all the time, or you're getting calls all the time, or text messages all the time, it makes it really difficult to, like, clear your headspace and dive in and do. Are you
purposely not using IM or
well,
text
we do, yeah. So we our number one is we'll start with email. Right? If we need to communicate something, we start with email. If we need like a quick answer right now, we have Slack in place, and that works really well. We send a lot of really fun gifts, and again, that helps to create team culture. We do all of our project management in a system called Asana, and we also do all of our file management in Google Drive. So every file lives in Google Drive. We use those links and attach them in Asana, and that's to help with process. But if it's just purely communication, email is number one. Slack is if I need a quick answer. If something's super urgent, then I'm going to text you and maybe call you. But to me, I feel like that's the most invasive. And when I want to give my, and I feel the same way about myself, when I want to make sure that my team is set up for success and they have the space to do their best work, I want to try to be mindful of interrupting them throughout the day, and also knowing that people are more successful at different times during the day. So not everyone's a morning person, and I get a lot done at 2 a.m. So it really depends. And again, that email being the main form of communication gives people flexibility in terms of working to their best ability. And then we kind of have those tiers in terms of next level of communication.
Interesting. Where do you think the biggest challenge is with the virtual office? What have you wrestled with the most, you know, and wish you had a magic wand that you could change something about the virtual agency business?
Yeah. I come back to people.
Yeah.
Like I said.
How do you screen and recruit people? Well, what's any secret sauce there that you have?
It's
do you
finding
mandate
people that
have
you
have
trust.
experience working virtually?
Yeah.
Hiring somebody brand new to the virtual marketplace, probably difficult.
Yeah, there's a couple different things. We, generally speaking, tend to hire people that have been in their industry for a little while. So if they're an email expert or email specialist, like I don't have to teach them.
Yeah.
In this situation, they're teaching me. So in terms of the people that are doing the work on our client work, they have years of experience. So I don't need to be in the same physical space as them.
Yeah.
In most cases, they're teaching me things. Now, if we bring in people who are a bit more green, then that's where I try to carve out like FaceTime with them, like once a week or every other week, to make sure that we can really start to learn things together and make sure that they adapt to our processes. So there's two types of people. It's the people who already have years of experience in their industry, and then the people who we need to do a little bit more training, a little bit more hand-holding.
Okay.
And then it's also the people who have worked in offices 9 to 5 and the people who have worked remotely. And that's something that we've integrated more into our interview process, is asking what type of work environment do they thrive the best in. Because what we've realized is at the end of the day, if you really thrive in a 9 to 5 workspace where you get to hang out and banter with your colleagues, et cetera, good for you. We're probably not the right fit for you.
Gotcha.
And you kind of have to just have that sense of self to be able to identify that. And it comes down to the conversation of, it's not that I don't want to give them that opportunity, it's that I know it's just not going to make them happy in the long run. And we've had that happen with certain people where it's like, you're amazing and you're super talented and you're wonderful and I adore you and I can't believe you're part of the team, this is awesome. And then after a certain period of time, they're just like, working remotely is not my jam. I'm lonely, I'm isolated, I'm whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But other people are like, this is amazing. I get to work in my pajamas, I don't have to shower. Maybe I wear a bra, maybe I don't, doesn't matter. You know, I'm like, I don't care, get your stuff done and get it done on time and be easy to work with and do great work and that's it. That's kind of like what we say to people. We're like, I want you to get your stuff done, get it done on time, get it done well, and not be a pain in the ass to work with. And then we all win, right? Because you're a full-grown man or woman. I'm not your mom and I'm not your babysitter. So I'm not here to micromanage you. You do what you do best, and hopefully we do our part to set you up for success. But yeah, I'm not here to babysit.
Good stuff. Now, the final most important question is, when you do get together for happy hour, what time do you actually meet, and what day of the week do you meet?
Yes. We do
What's
Tuesdays.
that like, by the way? I'd like to hear about what
Our
that's
happy
like.
hours?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're the best.
Once a week, you said? Or
We get together monthly.
monthly? Okay.
So actually there's another happy hour in Milwaukee that I organize, and that happens on the first Tuesday of every month. And our team, generally speaking, just like really enjoys each other. So they usually show up to that one as well.
Okay.
But then our Brainchild team happy hour, it happens usually the third Tuesday of every month. Not this week because I was here, but it'll be happening next week.
Got it.
And usually what will happen is we just recently picked a location that we're like, we're always gonna come here. And because previously we were moving around and trying to get people into different female-owned businesses, trying to support our local ladies.
Wow.
As much as possible.
Huh.
And so what usually happens is we let everybody show up. I'll pay for all drinks and food and stuff. And then I'll have like a quick little announcement to like, hey team, this is where we're at. Just want to give kudos to everybody. Also let you know what's going on behind the scenes. Try to make that pretty like quick and short to the point. And then everyone just like hangs out and giggles and has a drink or two and they just become friends. Like I don't have children yet, but I would imagine like seeing my teammates like play nice together feels like what I would imagine a parent sees when their two kids are like finally not wrestling and are like holding hands and like helping each other. Like, oh, it's working. So it's awesome when you're able to pull together a group of people that all have this amazing mutual respect for one another, and then like they choose to go get drinks on their own. It's just like, it's the best.
That is fine. Well, Kiley, thank you so much for being at Content Marketing Conference this year and
Thank
helping
you.
us evolve content marketing, which we're trying to
Yeah.
do. And I appreciate your support and all the hard work you put into presentations like you've given today.
Oh, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I'm honored to be a part of this entire conference.
Fantastic.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very much. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.